Sometimes the most powerful ideas are hiding in plain sight, packed right into something as simple as a book title. Today, we're going to unpack one of those titles to explore the hidden forces that shape what you see, what you hear, and ultimately what you believe. So let's just jump right in with a really big question. I mean, think about it. We are just constantly bombarded with articles, videos, updates. It's endless. Have you ever really stopped to wonder who, or maybe what, is making the decisions about the information that actually gets to your screen? Our guide for this whole explainer is inspired by the title of Simon Foley's book, which gets into a pretty groundbreaking theory. We're going to use it to explore three key ideas: media propaganda, this concept of manufacturing consent, and what on earth it all means in our crazy digital world today. Okay, first things first. We've got to get on the same page. The title kicks off with two very loaded words: media propaganda. So what are we actually talking about here? So here's the classic textbook definition. When we hear propaganda, our minds usually jump to, old war posters or really obvious state-controlled news. It's information with a super clear agenda, right? It's designed to make you think or feel a certain way. It feels like something you could spot a mile away. Right. But here's where it gets a little more complicated and a lot more interesting. Is it always so blatant? Is it always about big, fat lies and deception? Or could it be something way more subtle? Something that works without us even realizing the strings are being pulled? And that very question leads us right to the heart of a powerful theory, one made famous by thinkers like Noam Chomsky and Edward S. Herman. Honestly, it's an idea that can totally change how you look at the media's influence. Just let that phrase sink in for a second. Manufacturing, consent. It doesn't sound like someone is forcing an opinion on you, does it? It sounds more like they're building it, piece by piece, until people willingly agree to something, maybe without ever realizing how their opinion was actually formed. So here's the crucial part. This isn't necessarily about telling lies. It's about curating the truth. I mean, imagine a giant newsroom. Thousands of things happen in the world on any given day. What gets to be the headline? Which expert do they quote? Which side of an argument is presented as the reasonable one? That whole selection process, that's where the manufacturing happens. And the implications of this are, well, they're huge. The original theory says this all happens through a series of filters, like who owns the media company, where does their advertising money come from, who gets to be labeled a credible expert. These filters basically ensure that the interests of powerful groups are served. They create this little illusion that the narrow debate you see on TV is the only debate happening. And any views outside that tiny box, they're made to seem extreme, or silly, or just irrelevant. And so, without ever being forced, we find ourselves agreeing with ideas presented inside that carefully built frame. Okay, but there's a catch. That whole theory was built for a world of newspapers and maybe 3 or 4 TV channels. And that brings us to the last part of our puzzle, the 21st century. How has the game changed in the age of the internet? And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, with a million different websites and everybody having a voice on social media, you'd think this whole consent manufacturing thing would be impossible now, right? The gatekeepers are gone, aren't they? Well, here's the twist. The gatekeepers haven't disappeared, they've just changed form. Back in the 20th century, you had human editors deciding what millions of people would see. Today, your primary gatekeepers are algorithms. Yeah, the feeds on your social media, the videos that get recommended to you, these are the new curators, and they're shaping your information diet on a scale that is both incredibly personal and absolutely massive. So, the factories that manufacture consent, they haven't been shut down. They've just been upgraded. They're now automated, they're personalized, and they're unbelievably efficient systems designed to do one thing: keep you engaged. And they do it by showing you more of what you already like, creating these echo chambers that reinforce your beliefs and quietly, gently narrow your perspective, all without a single human editor ever making that conscious choice for you. So, after all that, why does understanding this framework even matter? Because it's the first step, the absolute first step, toward navigating this modern world with your eyes wide open. Look, the goal here is not to make you paranoid or cynical about every single thing you read. Not at all. The real goal is empowerment. It's about trading that passive consumption for active, critical thinking. So here's a simple toolkit you can use. First, always ask, who's the source? Who benefits from this message? Second, question the frame. what's being emphasized, and maybe more importantly, what crucial context is being left out. Third, actively seek out other views. Make it a real habit to break out of your bubble. And last, check your emotions. Is this content designed to make you angry or scared? Just recognizing that intended emotional response is a super powerful defense. At the end of the day, it really all comes back to this one fundamental idea. Real intellectual freedom doesn't come from finding the one perfect news source. It comes from having the right tools to question every source of information, even and especially the ones you're already inclined to agree with. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. We've talked about media filters and algorithmic gatekeepers, but the most powerful filters are often the ones inside our own heads. Knowing what we've talked about today, maybe just take a moment to ask yourself, what filters, both external and internal, are shaping the reality that you see every single day?